In these dangerous times, where the world is ripping apart at the seams, we can learn from those who stare death in the face every day by reaching out to one another and bonding as a community, rather than hiding from the terrors of life. Jonathan Larson. How do we honor Jonathan Larson's legacy? With a grant that inspires burgeoning artists like Larson's once was. The Jonathan Larson Grant is awarded to musical theater composers, writers, lyricists, and librettists, or writing teams, early in their career, to support artistic endeavors and safeguard long-term music writing careers. The American Theater Wing has spent a century using theater to advance human experience, empathy, and cultural growth like never before. Interested in learning more? Visit americantheaterwing.org/grants and read about this unconditional annual investment in individual talent. Mark Campbell is a Pulitzer Prize winning artist that was one of the earliest recipient of the grant. We are proud to present this message from Mark.
It's a real honor for me to have been asked to talk about the late Jonathan Larson. We were colleagues and we knew each other, we knew each other's work, but I was very fortunate to have been asked by New York Theater Workshop to attend the final dress rehearsal of Rent down at their theater on East 4th Street. Of course, many of you know that is the night that Jonathan died, and I will never forget. I can still remember to this day how exciting it was to be there. And the thrill that we all felt in that audience that night, it was electric. It was absolutely electric. Here was a new writer. Here was a writer who was capturing our times now, using our vernacular, using people we knew. And I lived in the East Village at the time. No one was representing East Village in musicals. And there he was doing that. And not only that, representing many characters very truthfully. I was especially excited the way he wrote Angel, trans character, and also the other gay characters in the book. I was thrilled the way he broke down the stigma against AIDS in this musical by making these characters human. I didn't know anything about La Boheme. I know I'm supposed to be a big opera queen, but I hadn't seen La Boheme then. So I just took Rent on face value, and that was a great face. At intermission, I saw Jonathan, and I went rushing up to him and blubbered all over and said, "This is amazing," and that he should feel very proud. He had a very glazed expression. I think it was just because he was exhausted from pouring everything he had into this musical. And then I was supposed to have a meeting with New York Theater Workshop, I think the next day or something, and then I got a call from them saying that he had died that night, not long after the performance or into the morning. We have been deprived of one of the great, great musical theater writers. I hate that it makes it almost impossible to separate the quality of that great musical from this person's death. I don't know, it just feels, it just bothers me. I can't go into it. I mean, I went to his memorial service, and I was going to a lot of memorial services those years, and it was kind of like, no, this just can't be happening. It's just not him, not yet. And I went to the opening on Broadway, and it was fine. It was supposed to go to Broadway. It had to go to Broadway. It had to reach a Broadway audience. But nothing was like that night at New York Theater Workshop. And then, to add to all of this, his family went forward and said, how do we honor this man's legacy? How do we honor Jonathan Larson? And they created this incredible grant, really, right soon after. And I was fortunate to receive one of those grants early on. It meant so much to me to receive anything with Jonathan's name on it and maybe be a part of his legacy in some way. I went into writing opera. I sort of didn't continue with musical theater, but so many of our best composers and lyricists and librettists have received this award. You should just check out the website to see how many familiar names are there, and you can kind of match them up with Tony Awards. I don't know if we'll. I hope, and I know we keep trying to find writers of his quality and his specificity, his sense of humor, his edge, his humanity. Ultimately, his humanity. I don't know if we will, if we do. We keep trying. I just know I miss his work. I think of Frank Lesser, who wrote Guys and Dolls, and when I think of his lyrics, they're so funny and they're so brilliant, and the craft in them, by the way, is perfect. And so much craft is missing right now from musical theater and opera. It's like, oh, I can't be bothered with craft. It's just, I'm going to write freely. Well, you write freely with craft. Craft helps you write freely. And make sure you communicate your message clearly. He did that brilliantly. He had his own voice. And gosh, I hope we have another one like him again. Thank you again for asking me to speak about this great man, this great artist.